All right, so now we're going to talk about simple interest. And simple interest is interest that is calculated on the principal So it's interest calculated on the principal balance. Okay, and there's a formula to help you calculate this. So you use the formula I equals capital P times lowercase r times lowercase t. Okay, you might be thinking, what do all those letters mean? I stands for the interest earned. So the interest earned. P stands for your principal balance, principal amount. And you may be thinking, but what does that mean? Your principal amount is really your original amount of money. I spelled original wrong. O-R-I-G-I-N-A-L. So it's like how much you open the bank account with or whatever. R is your interest rate. So R is your interest rate. And T is time in years. Okay, so I equals PRT. Okay, so you won't ever see me write it out with little multiplication symbols. It'll just be I equals PRT. And I will always write the formula before I do anything, just so I can remember and get comfortable with it. So let's do one. So are asked to find the amount of interest. So find the interest earned when we have a $450 deposit that was left in the account for 7 years with a 2% interest rate. So let's break this apart. The initial deposit is $450. That's your principal. That's your P. Your interest rate is 2%, which we're always going to write as a decimal. And remember that 2% as a decimal is 0.02. The time is 7 years. So now we have to write an equation. So remember, the equation is I equals PRT. So we're trying to find the interest earned. We have the principal of $450 times the rate of 0.02 times the time of 7 years. Okay, so now I just multiply those numbers together. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 450 times 0.02 times 7. Okay, so when you do 450 times 0.02 times 7 in your calculator, you get $63. So the amount of interest earned is $63 after 7 years. Now, if you want to figure out how much money you have in your account or your new total, you add interest to the original deposit. So we would do 450 plus 63. So 450 plus 63 is going to be our answer here. So the new total amount in the account after 7 years is $513. Hopefully you got it. 513. All right, so let's do a couple more. All right, so again, our equation is I equals PRT. So we want to find our new total. So first we have to find how much interest we earned. When we have our initial deposit is our principal. This 6% is our rate, which we have to convert to a decimal, and then 10 years is time. Okay, so now we're going to plug these values into our equation. So our interest equals 300 times 0.06 times 10. So I'm going to plug this whole thing in my calculator. And when I do, I get my interest is equal to, so do 300 times 0.06 times 10. You should get 180. So remember, to find your new total, you do your original price or balance, so our $300 plus how much we've earned in interest. Okay, and we will get a total of $480 in our bank account. All right, so let's do one more together. So again, I always write my equation. I equals PRT. The initial deposit is your principal. The percentage is your rate. And we have to write that as a decimal. So it's 0.02. And then 8 years is your time. So we plug that into our equation. Our principal is 500 times our rate of 0.02 times our time of 8 years. So I plug this into my calculator. And when I do that, I get that my interest accrued is $80. So I'm going to take this $80 and add it to my principal balance, which my principal was $500. So then my new balance, so my balance after 8 years is $580. Is $580. Okay, so I want you to do the next two on your own. So pause the video and do the next two on your own. All right, so hopefully for the first one, your final answer was 14,500 and you got an interest of 4,500. For the second one, I didn't show any work, but it should be the interest of 400 and the total should be 1,040. Sorry, so your interest should be 4D, okay? So remember one thing, just make this into a decimal. All right, so my self-paced friends, these two problems are your homework, and they're due on February 13th. So February 13th, have those two problems done, so.